Welcome back and thank you for staying with us at Hot 7 TV. The president of the Dennery Minibus Association, Francis Edmonds, has sought to clear the air as well as apologize for the actions of some of the 2C minibus operators regarding a situation where some drivers were seen carrying a full load of passengers. Edmonds says there was simply a misinterpretation of information disseminated within the transportation sector.
Reports have been made to both the media and the police that certain 2C Dennery Village minibus drivers have been operating at full capacity. It has also been indicated that on Thursday, officers were summoned to the bus stand and certain drivers explained that a go-ahead was given for 14 passengers to be carried. Hot 7 reached out to the president of the Dennery Minibus Association, Francis Edmonds, to verify whether there was actually any consultation with the relevant authorities and whether any changes were made to the current operations.
Well, I think it was just a clear misinterpretation of the information disseminated, to us.
Edmonds explained that after many meetings with various officials within the transportation sector, certain drivers began placing their carts before their horses. He did, however, issue an apology to the public for any discomfort or inconvenience.
The information reaching us that the authorities were looking into us carrying a full load of passengers with obviously the protocols in place, right? So that it was just misinterpreted that it was okay to actually carry the 15 passengers. Let me just make an apology on behalf of my association and my drivers. If there was any issue like that, that we want to say that we're sorry about that. And it is not something that was maliciously done, by our drivers.
Edmonds stated that 2C drivers have an outstanding track record within the Dennery community and assures their commuters that the drivers would never intentionally break protocol nor place them in immediate danger. He says while he understands that everyone is going through rough times and many drivers are complaining, Dennery bus drivers have been doing their best to support and transport persons from the community whenever they have to, and hopes that this incident does not make them come off as, quote, awaji. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Shanique Gonzaga.
President of the Gros Islet Minibus Association, Danny Edwards, has indicated that after much negotiation, the transportation sector may finally receive some relief. He says whilst talks with the officials continue, the coming weeks should bring some joy to minibus operators and their pockets. He has indicated that he is simply awaiting a public announcement from officials.
The Gros Islet Minibus Association runs independently from the National Council of Public Transportation. However, the association still shows its solidarity with other associations when there may be issues affecting bus operators. President of the Gros Islet Association, Danny Edwards, says after much negotiating, minibus operators will receive some much-needed reprieve.
We had a meeting with the minister. We met with him and we share our concerns with the minister. Some of our concerns was addressed. I could say the meeting was a successful meeting. One of the concerns that we had was the number of passengers that we carry on a daily basis. And our second main concern was a time frame where the minister could give us a date where we could where he would be paying the rebates, the money that was owed to us a few years ago. All that also was addressed. What I could say, come next week Monday, they will have some changes in the capacity that we are able to carry. I do not want to disclose that right now because the minister said that they will be meeting on NTN along with National Council to pass on that information. So
Edwards confirmed that certain associations had planned strikes and other forms of protest which would have received the full support of the Gros Islet Minibus Association. However, many concerns were addressed by the meetings with the council and the transport minister.
I got a call on Thursday from some association, especially the associations from the south of the island, asking Gros Islet to support them because they had some concerns and they were planning to take some protest action come this week. We engaged National Council. I spoke to my executive and we decided to support the other association, our former colleagues, in whatever concerns that they had. So yes, this is one of the reasons why the meeting was sought with the minister.
He says the minibus sector is fully aware that the COVID-19 nightmare may not be over anytime soon. However, agreements have to be made in such a way that people can coexist with the virus while being able to sustain their livelihoods and families. Edwards and many other members of minibus associations across the island have indicated that they are waiting anxiously to find out what the decision of the authorities will be. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzalez.
Slowly but surely, the island has been recovering from the devastating impact of the blow dealt by the COVID-19 pandemic. Prime Minister Alan Chastanet announced the reopening of the nation's borders, which came into effect on Thursday, June 4th. And on Wednesday, June 3rd, schools reopened their doors to grade 6 and Form 5 students. With such examples indicating the return to normalcy, minibus drivers island-wide are asking when their sector will go back to normal, where they could once again carry full busloads of commuters. Curious to find out whether the sentiments were shared by said commuters, we took to the streets to ask the members of the public whether minibuses should return to carrying more than 9 passengers. Here's what they had to say.
Given the great stride that St. Lucia has achieved with COVID-19, bus drivers are continuously agitating for them to return to full operation. Do you think it is time for drivers to be allowed to carry a full load? Here's what you had to say.
Well, if you can open the borders, I think the bus drivers carry the full amount of people they're carrying. Yeah, because although I heard St. Lucia already have one case, one corona case, a lady 33 years old. Well, I think since they already have a lady 33 years old, they should hold some things back still. Don't allow the bus drivers to have all them people on board. Everybody's supposed to have a mask.
Yeah, when I look at it, it's time because the fellas have been hustling for the day. And when I look at it, I don't believe they're making any profit. But there's another thing I want to say. If the government could allow the bus driver, I support for the bus driver to carry the maximum passengers they always carry. But what I want the government to do is time enough for him to put something in place for the people who support him, to give a little contract. Because we are approaching the hurricane season, and right now all the drains are blocked. All the roadside have grass. The vehicle cannot see where they're traveling. I want Mr. Chastanet, I'm calling on Mr. Chastanet, to give something, give the people a contract to clean the roadside like how it used to be before.
Yeah, they might as well allow a full bus, it really doesn't make sense. 8 passengers and there's still not this social distance 6 feet. So they might as well allow the bus, to have a full load. It's a kind of squeeze on the bus drivers right now. I think they should just allow it to happen. That's my understanding of that.
Yes, it's long overdue. Yeah, because when I look at it, even today, I wasn't looking yesterday. Today I came and they told me they put it to 10. So what sense does it make? One seat has 3 and the other two seat has 2 and 2. That is not distance like when they require 10 feet. 6 feet. That is about 6 inches, not 6 feet. So they're not sense does it make. So if you can allow one seat to have 3, just allow every seat to have 3, even though you enforce that everybody should wear their mask. At least, but every 6 should have 3 people, because we've been operating for the last almost 3 months on a loss. Look, government promised us money they were owing us from since 2017. They cannot give us that money yet. Far less what we're getting. That's a charity we're doing there right now there.
Well, I believe that the drivers could on full load. I believe that because right now nobody haven't passed away in St. Lucia yet with that coronavirus, and right now I believe the Prime Minister is opening the country. I believe that you should have full load and do what we have to do because life goes on. Because we have America, we have a lot of places that are opening the country. Plus in the Caribbean, we have Barbados, we have Grenada, St. Vincent, Trinidad, they are opening the country. So I find St. Lucia should just put bus load, let the people make money because 2-3 months we was people out of work, people want to, fill their pocket, So.
And here's what you had to say. The consensus is a full load and wear your masks. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzalez.
Former Senate President Claudius Francis has questioned the manner by which the tourism levy bill was presented to the House of Assembly. Francis says this being the first reading of the bill, it should have been done in a timelier manner with all honorable members present.
While there have been debates in the Parliament which extended to past midnight, sometimes in the very early hours of the morning, there has seldom, if ever, been a situation where a bill is commenced after midnight. You've had situations, for example, where there have been debates on the appropriations bill that go well into the wee hours, but these debates began in the afternoon and sometimes the previous day. But in a situation where a bill is being brought for first reading so late or so early, whatever time you want to discuss, at a time when members who reside deep into the south of the island have left after a long day.
Meanwhile, Independent Senator Adrian Auger says the main concern which stands with the tourism levy bill is its true impact on small domestic operators within the sector. He says greater dialogue is needed on the nature of this bill.
Our main concern, I think, between both Senator Marussia Thomas and myself will be to ensure that the bill in no way disadvantages small domestic operators. I would like to understand more fully the purpose of the registration. Is it informational primarily? Is it going to be linked to fiscal incentives, which would be wonderful if, by being registered with the Tourism Authority, you also are automatically qualified for certain incentives.
Auger says persons ought to have a feeling of ownership and belonging in the country's leading economic sector. You're watching the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Stay with us, we'll be right back.